In today's video, we're going to be ranking every single Geometry Dash level. Now, this is only the main levels. We're not including Sub-Zero, or World, or Meltdown, or any other side game. Just the main ones, because I don't feel like ranking them, because I forgot all the levels by now, but yeah. Now, please remember, this is completely my opinion. Don't attack me, because I rate a level you like shit, then too bad. I'm going to be ranking these levels based on its gameplay, its visual, and I guess the song. The song is a little bit because it's an external factor, not the level itself, but whatever, it might play in. So, first of all, we start off with Stereo Madness, the most infamous, most early, most popular level out of this entire list. Stereo Madness is a level that I guess a lot of people like because it's easy, but the thing is, I find back on track easier, and I tell you why. It's because of the two Michigan triple spikes at the end. I'll get up a YouTube video for the people that don't play Geometry Dash. You can see Geometry Dash is so popular at the search results. Oh yeah, I forgot Mr. Beast exists. Can I get a Stereo Madness gameplay? Yay, you can see here, this is the most popular part of the video because there's a couple of triple spikes over here. Yeah, like one there and one near the end right there. Now, those triple spikes are one of my least favorites. Even though they're the squished in ones that aren't actually a legitimate triple spike, they annoy me. And that's why I'm going to be ranking this at a mediocre. I don't really like the song too much either, even though it's the most popular. I have to take that into accountability. It is quite popular, and I've heard the song a million times. It just isn't as good as the other songs we see here. So yeah, that's why I'm going to be rating it a mediocre. And with these 1.0 levels, there's not really much with the visuals, so I can't really say much about that. Back on track. Now, I prefer this level just because it's a little easier, but it can still introduce a gameplay mechanic like these yellow jump pads. Again, the gameplay, I feel like it's a lot easier because I guess there's no triple spikes, and I guess the whole premise of this level is just to showcase the yellow pads. But other than that, it's just a little easier than Stereo Madness. And the song is just slightly better, in my opinion. Still not the best out of this whole list, but the song is slightly better, in my opinion. Again, visuals, not much to say about it, because it's 1.0, so I'm going to give this a good. Poltergeist, ooh, an interesting one. Poltergeist is the kind of level, come on, can I... Poltergeist is an interesting level because it introduces the yellow jump orbs. Now, I don't really like this level very much, just because of how boring and how plain it is to play. Like, you got this first part, which is all fine, but then, yeah, there's a lot of parts where the yellow jump orb just isn't used, like here, a little bit more here, just filler gameplay where the yellow jump orb isn't fully utilized. After this, you got probably the most drastically boring ship section in the whole game. You can see here, for about 20 seconds, you just fly. Like, you don't even need to actually fly because the coin is up here, which everyone pretty much goes for. So all you need to do here is just hug the top wall because there's no ceiling spikes. That sucks. And after here, you got this gameplay, which is just repeated 3 times, except incrementally going higher. That's super boring in my opinion. After that, you got like the hardest coin in the whole game. You got this jump, which is so infamous because you have to do this tricky jump. You have to do the tricky jump here, then followed by a blind orb jump here, then followed by another blind jump, and another blind orb jump. Don't you love all the blind jumps in the world after a really difficult jump? Don't you like that at all? Shit. Dry Out. Ooh, Dry Out. Dry Out's a good one. I like Dry Out a lot because it is quite interesting. The coins in it are shit, but I like the song quite a lot. The song is really good. You, like pause the shitty, where is it? You can't say that is shit. You can't say that is shit. That is really good song. I like the introduction of the gravity portal. It's a little too harsh in my opinion. I wish the gameplay was a little easier because all the new players are like, what the fuck, I'm upside down now, and they don't know anything. So I feel like this mechanic should be introduced a little bit more friendlier, not like this kind of gameplay, because it's a little too difficult, especially because, you know, new players are disorientated, and the coins in it are not that great. The level itself is alright. It's a little boring at times, especially this middle section where not really much happens. It's just a bunch of spikes and platforms. You don't even go anywhere. You just stay on the ground majority of the time, and it's just utilizing the yellow and yellow jump pad and orb. Got this ship section, which is alright. It's a little decorated with the spike decorations, I guess, what you call them. And after they just got a pretty lame-ass ending section. But I'm gonna give this a good, just because I really like the song and a yellow jump portal, I guess. Not fucking jump. Yellow inverted portal, whatever the fuck you call them. Next, we get Bass After Bass. Now, this is a pretty good song, but the problem with Bass After Bass, it's just... Come on, can I just please get a normal level completion? The problem with Bass After Bass is it looks exactly the same as Can't Let Go. You can't tell me that this is not just a replica of Can't Let Go. Can't Let Go is just a harder version of this. Because you got this intro section, after that, you got the black section, which is also featured in Can't Let Go. It's just harder. The thing about this is Bass After Bass is just a really boring level to begin with. You got this first section, which nothing really happens in it. Nothing really happens in this first section. After that, you get to the black part, which is, I guess, arguably the coolest part of the level, so it's the most played. But even with this, there's not really that much happening. It's just black, and you go pretty high on the platforming. You get off the ground, I guess, which is cool, but there's not really much else. There's barely any decoration. These platforms are just floating in the air with zero decoration. That coin is so brutal, by the way. But, yeah, not really much happened in this level. That, I guess, is a cool feature, but then that was just introduced in Bass After Bass, so not really much about that. The ship section is alright, but, again, nothing much happened in it. And then you got this final ending section that basically just looks like Tryout. Like, literally, the background is the same color as Tryout. Nothing changed about it, even... And the thing is, though, it's even worse decorated, because the top... Sorry. The top ceiling here is legit just this one block. At least in Tryout, there's some decoration to it. This is just nothing. This is boring. But I do like the song, but that is not a saving grace. Trash. Can't Let Go. A really infamous level because it is one of the harder ones. This used to be rated insane back then, by the way. Can't Let Go is basically just a replica of Bass After Bass, but a little harder. You got this first beginning section, which is already quite difficult, especially with, whereas it over here with all the fake orbs here. But, other than that, it's basically just a replica of Bass After Bass. Then you got the black section again, which is, again, just a harder version of Bass After Bass. Again, barely any decoration here. It feels like it's even more lazy, considering that these are all just single blocks now instead of actual, like, half platform blocks, is that what you call them? Yeah. Again, just a replica. You get these pretty cool orb combinations that sync up with the music here. Over here. Which is kind of cool, I guess, and you get it up. No, that's the second time it happened. But, yeah, and I like how the black continues on with the ship part, but again, it's just copy-pasted bullcrap that nothing happened in it. And the last, this coin that I could never get because it's so goddamn complicated. You have to jump at a really specific time there, and you have to deal with 15 different jump pads there, which are all terribly placed. Like, what is this? Every new player that plays this level, they go from there and they jump there. They're probably like, why the fuck is there a jump pad one block below the normal gameplay? That does not make sense, and a lot of players fuck up here just because of how terrible this coin is. Like, it's terribly designed and just is one of the worst in my opinion. Other than that, yeah, that's the end. There's a triple spike at the end, which is really funny in my opinion. Like, why at the end? But the song is also really good. It's better than Bass After Bass, but really isn't that much better than it, really. That's all I can say. What's the next level? I forgot Jumper. I thought Cycles. Yeah, I forgot. Oh, great. We gotta get GD. This is the first time I have to put GD into this. Yeah, GD. Jumper is an interesting level, and I actually like this level quite a lot, because the level design actually kind of fits the title of the level, jumping, you know? You jump a lot in this level. These are just one block with platforms. They go pretty high at times, and it's basic platforming. Instead of being stuck on the ground all the time, you have to do a lot of jumping, and I like that, because it matches the song title. But your orbs, and this upside down section, which I guess does copy Tryout a little bit, but again, more jumping, you know? No staying on the ground at all. Or not even any orb combinations. And after that, you get to the ship part, which introduces upside down ships, even though it isn't a new thing technically. It kinda is. See, upside down ships. I like it how it progressively gets harder. First thing, you get 0 obstacles, then the ceiling spikes suddenly get a little bigger, then after that you get these pillars here on the top and bottom which make it hard, and it's really infamous coin. It's actually quite difficult to get. And this second section's a little boring, nothing happened. And then you get this section, which is a little interesting, because the ground gets a lot closer to you, and there's a little less freedom to move everywhere. You feel a lot more enclosed. You get the next ship section, which is basically just a bunch of spikes everywhere, dotted haphazardly, which just reminds me of Poltergeist, except now it has spikes. And then after that, you get the last jumping section, and that's pretty much it to the level. I like it quite a lot, but I don't really like the song that much, and it isn't like the best level I've ever seen. So we're going to give it a good, but nothing more. Time Machine. Oh, fuck me, I hate Time Machine. This is one of my least favorite levels. Not just because it uses the mirror portals, it's just because of the level gameplay. There's way too many invisible jumps, blind jumps, and too many Michigans, triple spikes. This level is also step up difficulty from every other level because this is technically the first new level that came out in the game. The previous, however many, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, the previous 7 were all came included in the base game. This was update 1.1. So the level starts off with this and instantly a triple spike. Great, I love triple spikes. They throws you into this upside down conundrum, which is basically just copied Jumper, except it's even more boring because these spikes on the bottom literally don't mean anything. Like, these spikes at the bottom don't need to exist. There's no coin or any added value to these spikes at all, and you just get 2 more triple spikes, then you're done with that. Then after that, you just get this boring-ass section here. Go upside down for 1 second, even though, again, it's not necessary. Nothing happens in it. This coin is kind of cool. I do like this coin because it is quite intuitive. New players, they don't realize this gap is possible, or they don't realize you can jump very late to avoid that spike up there. That's a cool coin. After that, another triple spike, then you get just boring, lame section here with these corner tiles not filled in properly. What the hell, Rob Top? And then you get just this orb combination here, which just isn't really needed at all, doesn't sync up with the music that well. And this is like before the introduction to the mirror portal, which is really fun in my opinion. Where is it? It's upcoming soon. Here we go, mirror portal, and now everything's purple and shit. The problem I have with the mirror portal is that the gameplay, again, it just introduces you way too quickly. They just introduce it way too quickly. Instead, you should just be like a lot more chill, you know, give a lot more space for the platforming instead of just instant. You're continuing on the same thing as before. You're playing Can't Let Go, but in reverse. This code also quite cool. You have to do straight flying, which is really interesting. This ship section exists, and it's alright. It's a little too difficult, again, because new players wouldn't understand that much about how to control physics going the other way. You got that, you got another triple spike, and then a fake jump pad. Like, fuck me, dude, that's so many. And you get 2 there for some reason. That's just terrible design. You get this orb combination here. You go down here, here, there. Another triple spike coming somewhere. Somewhere up here. And just the amount of blind jumps there are, there's way too many shifting with the elevation. You go up, and then you go down, back to the ground. To me, elevation changes like this, for example. You go all the way up there now. Like, it just begs itself for blind jumps, and especially this coin right here. You get the coin, you get 2 jumps here, and then instantly blind jump there. And the thing is, though, with this jump, you have to time it perfectly. You can't just instantly jump because you got this ceiling thing here, and then you have to jump. That's so unfair in my opinion. Every time I go for this coin, I instantly forget, oh, you're supposed to jump afterwards. And even if I do remember, oops, I hit the ceiling because I jumped too early. Terrible design. You get the mirror portal again, another triple spike jump there, another triple spike if we didn't get enough by now, another triple spike. Like, fuck me, I don't have anything against triple spikes. It's just really annoying to see them 5 times in a level. Like, it just reminds me of backpack levels. After that, just more boring-ass platforming. Nothing interesting happened. You got this final section where everything... It's just boring again. This final ship section, which is basically just an anticlimactic ending to it all. Like, in this ship section, which nothing happens. It's just these slopes that exist, and you just go up and down. Nothing interesting, and that's the end of the level. Shit. I'd rather play Dorame Choose Way. Cycles. This is an infamous level because of the amount of triple spikes and fake stuff in it. Yeah. Yeah, we should do like a triple spike counter, honestly. Not even... okay. The thing is with Cycles, the song isn't that bad. The song's really good. But I feel like the ball section is way too far in the level. I know it's supposed to be a difficult level, but the first, I don't know, 40% of the level is just this first cube section with a million triple spikes. That is just really way... like, this first cube section is more difficult than any other part of the level, in my opinion. Like, goddamn. This cube section is way harder than everything, and a lot of new players just don't get up to the ball part before giving up. Like, boom, triple spike number 1. Boom, fake orb number 1. Look at that. Just a lot of fake stuff in this level that makes it really difficult. Triple spike, double in a row, just because you didn't like it. 4, 7 fake orbs, 1 jump pad fake, 2... like, it's so hard to sight read this really quickly, in my opinion. Like... there's just so much going on right here. Like, fake. You have to understand that. And then after that, you just into the ball part. And the ball part, it does introduce it quite well. It's actually quite simple, in my opinion. It's also pretty simple. You go up and down, and boom, now you know the basics. Now, let's play Bloodbath with this ball part. But in all honesty, they do introduce the ball part pretty well, so I give it props for that. And then you get this ship section, which is kind of cool, I guess, because you keep flipping up and down and up and down. Yeah, you keep flipping up and down, which is cool. It's a little repetitive, but it works, I guess. After that, you got a really long-ass ball section at the end, which just kind of introduces the ball a little bit further. You got the last code in a different attempt because you're so bad at the game. Haha. But yeah, just some ball part and you're done. But I just don't like how the beginning cube section is just like basically the hardest point of the level, and it goes on for like a really long time. It's gonna get a mediocre from me. The song is quite good, but I just don't feel like the level design was that well thought out. X Step is an interesting one. X Step. Now this one is the first insane level in the game. I mean, Can't Let Go was technically, but it got downgraded, so shut up. First insane level of the game, and it is one of the harder levels. You can already see fake stuff. This is, I guess, the first level that actually has some decoration changes. Like the other 9 levels just all were the same, but this one finally has a little bit of decoration, especially with these pulsing diamond things. You get introduced to the ball section quite early, and it already is quite difficult, like fake jump orbs everywhere, little upside down little thing right there. And I like these decorations, these spike square things. They're quite a unique touch, and I guess give this level some uniqueness from all the other ones, because it gives it some character, you know. X-Step's the one with these spike squares, and also this ship part where there's blue inverter pads literally everywhere that doesn't really actually do anything. I wish the coin for this level had to do something with these pads, for example. Like you have to go upside down and go upside down to the very end where you hit the cube and then you go upside down and grab the coin from up there. I wish that was how it was, because it would have been so much cooler than just it being here for decoration. But yeah, it also gives the level a unique touch, which is alright, I guess. After that, though, you get this pretty difficult cube section, actually, because everything happens so quickly, and there's a lot of fake stuff like that. For example, you have to go up here, go down, oh, you get the coin, don't forget about that. Another fake one down there, you go hit that, and then after that, you go theory of everything style, and go underneath the actual platforming, and ignore whatever the hell happens up here. That's a little weird, in my opinion. It throws so many players off, including me back then. Like, oh my god, you go through the floor here. That's insane, which it kind of is, to be fair. You get this ball section, which kind of just exists. It's not really anything special because it's a lot easier than the first one you saw. And then after you got this ship section, which isn't that interesting, it's just the decoration isn't that bad. We give it a good. The reason why it's not awesome is because it just doesn't warrant to be an awesome. Yes, I said a lot of good things about the level, but they weren't all mind-blowing in my opinion. An awesome category has to be mind-blowing, has to be spectacular, and I don't think X-Step really matches that description. Why is that broken? Whatever. It doesn't match the description in my opinion. It's a pretty good level. It was well thought out, well designed, but it needs to go a step further. Especially with that coin, with the blue jump pad coin. I wish, if that was actually the case, then I'd probably give it an awesome. Everybody's hatred level. God damn. Before I shit on this level a lot, I just want to say the decoration is not bad. There's a lot of new blocks, like these, I don't know what you call them, these blocks, they're new. I like the mini portal, and I guess the overall decoration is definitely a step up from everything that you saw, so I'll give it that. But other than that, fuck me, this level is horrendous as hell. First off, you get this cube part, which already throws you into a bunch of things with a fake jump pad. Then over here, you're supposed to go down, which is so awesome to know. Wow, I'm supposed to go down there. And instantly, another mirror portal, another jump there. After that, you just get more of this platforming stuff before you get introduced to the mini portal. Now, the mini portal kind of does introduce you a little bit by only 2 jumps at the beginning, but then it just throws you into madness here. Like, you have to jump there, because a lot of players probably don't jump here because they think, oh, you're gonna jump really high, that you're gonna hit that sword blade, and that's not that far of a gap, you can just fall down. But no, you're supposed to jump there. After that, you're already introduced to a fake little jump pad over here. Well, further into the level, actually. Where the fuck's the fake jump pad? There, you get introduced to that, a bunch of fake orbs literally everywhere. It just sucks in my opinion. It's way too harsh for a new mechanic. You got the ship section, which is extraordinarily tight in my opinion. I don't know why, but the ship section, every time I've played it, feels like it's very tight. Like there's not a lot of room for the ship to go. So even though these spike bowl things are placed haphazardly everywhere, it feels like there's only a linear path that you can go, which just isn't fair considering that these are placed haphazardly. I wish they were a lot smaller so that could be go poltergeist style where you could just fly wherever you want. But after that you get this pretty sick ass bowl section. Like listen to this music. Just listen to that. Just listen to it. Just listen to it. It's awesome. This bowl section's not too bad. I like the decoration, really nice. There's not much to say about it. It's actually just a really good bowl part because it does actually sync up with the music, especially like this part. Shut up. Especially this part where you go all the way down and look at how tight that gap is. It does sync up with the music quite a lot, and I like that. And there's not that much bad about this bowl part. It's pretty well made in my opinion. Like it's a step up from all the other bowl parts, of course, but it's not that bad. The gameplay is quite sight-readable, no fake stuff. Oh, good. Then you got the ship section, which is really boring. Why? Because firstly, there's zero decoration here at all. It's just these black things. These black block things. You got this little section here where you just go up and down like cycles, except it's a little worse in my opinion, because it's you just hold the button down, I guess. And you got to the worst section of the whole level, this final section. This last section sucks because it's so incredibly difficult to actually sight read and for a new player to play this, because there's just so many complicated jumps here and there that, like this part for example, you're supposed to hit that jump pad, skip that one, jump over it to hit into this little tiny gap and hit those other two. Like, how would a new player be thinking of that? You're supposed to skip that one and fit into this tiny gap. A new player just wouldn't be able to know about how the physics engine would work that well. And you got this very awesome thing here called a blind jump, where it is sort of not blind, where you can just see the tops of the spikes by like a centimeter maybe, but then you throw it into that. Like, terrible design. You got this section over here with even more blind jumps over here, especially here where the ground hasn't caught up to show these orbs quick enough. A lot of blind jumps here and there, a lot of these really tight platforming sections which just don't make it really that nice, because they just limit your gameplay overall. It just makes everything look a lot harder, which I don't like. And then after that you get this final section where there's just a lot of fake orbs here and there. You have to go pretty far up here. I didn't even know that quite existed, to be honest. But yeah, a lot of orbs here and there, and this part can be a lot scary at times because you have to go really far up with these orbs. You have to hit them really early. You can't hit them late, because if you hit them late, you're basically fucked. A fake orb right there, really fun. Two of them actually. And after that, you go up again, and it descends down to the end of the level. Shit. Theory of everything. The decoration of that is not the worst. It's pretty good. It's probably the best out of every level we've ranked, but the gameplay is just trash in my opinion. The song is not bad. What the hell? But yeah. Theory of everything. Now this level is unique for all the wrong reasons in my opinion. It's basically Doromechu's way actually. This is Doromechu's way. First you get started off with this first cube section, which is well decorated in my opinion. There's a lot of these ground tiles here which are well decorated. I like how the sword blades are also decorated. Very nice touch. Like, it's the first level that actually put some care into decoration. Then you get thrown into Doromechu's way with this little conundrum, up or down, both of which work. And after that, you actually have a set path to choose, over here. And that's the thing I hate about this level. The only thing unique about this level is this choosing your path thing. Nothing else is unique. No new gameplay, no new mechanics, nothing. Actually, no, the UFO was introduced here. Never mind, the UFO was introduced. Forgot. But still, UFO was not even that well introduced in my opinion. It was shit. After that, you get even more gameplay, some X-Step vibes over here, going through the floor again, except they didn't even bother putting fake gameplay up here to confuse people. Like, at least X-Step had the decency to put fake gameplay to trick people. Here, you didn't, because you didn't feel like it. And after that, you got the UFO, which is a new game mode, which is supposed to be cool and innovating, but instead of that, you introduced it by making it a Doromechu's way. You know, yeah, you Flappy Bird it a little bit over here, difficult coin, but then boom, choose a way. Like, that just doesn't make sense. Why would you be doing this kind of thing? you should actually make some gameplay for the UFO that is only compatible with the UFO. Like, I feel like when you introduce a gameplay, make gameplay that is unique just to that one game mode. Like, make the UFO so that there's spaces that a UFO can only go through. Because if you replace this with a ship game mode, then it still works. Like, yeah, maybe this part wouldn't, but you could have just gotten rid of that and still a ship would have worked here. That just doesn't make sense in my opinion. Why make a brand new game mode just to introduce it like this? Like, at least with the ship game mode, it's unique. A cube can't fly through all those spikes, but with the UFO, it feels like a ship could just do all this. After that, you just get this pretty boring ass cube section with nothing in it again. Then you get this bowl section, which again, nothing happens in it. Like, nothing gets introduced, nothing interesting happens, you're just going backwards again. This ship section, which reminds you way too much of Colorflug with the block choice over here. And after that, you get this weird section where you just go up into the sky, but they do it quite well because it does sync with the song. It does sync with the song. It does sync along with the song quite well, so pretty good. Get this UFO section again, which kind of does actually, I guess, prove my point earlier, because this kind of gameplay kind of is only UFO compatible, but again, a ship could have probably done this. Like, if I replaced the UFO portal with a ship, then I could have probably just done this pretty much. Again, more Dorobe choose way, which just sucks because nothing unique about that. After this, you get this UFO section, which again is actually really good. It actually introduces the UFO gameplay a lot better than earlier on, because this is only compatible with a UFO. I don't think a ship would able to do this gameplay, so pretty good. Again, more Dorobe choose way, but over here, go all the way down, so if you tap once, you're fucked. After that, you get this pretty meaningless and boring cube section, with again, nothing into it, except that one coin that exists, apparently. Nothing interesting. A last bowl and you ship part, again, nothing interesting. And you get to the end of the level. So, not the best level by far. Trash. I just don't like the choose way. Like, it just makes the level too easy, in my opinion. Electroman Adventures. Damn it. Electroman Adventures. I like this. I like this level quite a lot, because it looks quite nice. Now, this level feels pretty spiky, in my opinion. I don't know why. It just, I guess, the spiky saws and the breakable blocks, I guess. What the hell did I do? It feels spiky. Why did he get to the song? I want the level. God damn it. But this level is quite nice, because it's pretty much actually decorated for once. Like, look at it. There's actual chain things that decorate this entrance. The new saws, of course, these little rotating missing saw. I don't know what you're supposed to describe in this, but then you get introduced with the breaking blocks, which are really cool in my opinion, because first of all, over here you're not supposed to break any of them. They still treat it like an actual platform, because you don't break any of it, you go on top of it. They're still treated like an actual platform out there, which confuses the player, like, oh, are these just normal blocks that look different? But no, over here, there's a little fake orb over here, which a giant X to it, which makes it actually, you know, sight readable for us. A new player will go, oh, you're not supposed to hit that. That means you can break through that. You know, problem solving. It says an X right there, because if you hit it, you get straight into spikes. So that means you can go right through that. And I guess that's what the unique part of this level is. And to get the coin, you have to break through these blocks right here. Yes, the arrow could have been removed. I don't really like the arrow too much. But yeah, it makes it unique, because you can break through those blocks and go up. And boom, into the ship section, which also looks quite nice in my opinion. A lot of these circle things, which are quite interesting in my opinion. This coin isn't as creatively and well thought out. It's just fucking base after base, so not that interesting. But mini ship, you go weave through the things, but again, these decorations, which are really cool in my opinion. After that, you get this really cool section where the block design completely changes, which is really good in my opinion. I like a level that changes the design, because it makes it more unique. With this section where it perfectly syncs with the song also over here. Yeah, the song goes a lot of really quick notes, and that means you go quickly upwards, which is really cool. And the thing I like most about that is that even though everything seems really complex, like you go up and down and up and down, like up and down, it's still sight readable to the point, because you only have to hit the orbs. You don't actually have to do any jumps until the end. You only hit the orbs, which give you a lot of reaction time for you to actually be able to, you know, react appropriately and hit the orbs. If you had to make a jump there and make a jump there, especially after these quick blue pad transitions, then that would be really unfair. But no, the design was really well so that you only have to hit the orb, so it gives you a lot of reaction time. You got this especially really quick section here. You got these 2 jumps at the end to further cement that point. Then you get this bowl section, which nothing really interesting happens in it. It's just the design is quite unique. After that, you get introduced to... No, not the UFO yet. This backwards than the UFO, which, again, nothing interesting happens here. And then you get the UFO game mode here, which is... again, it's... A ship could probably do this. Doesn't really make it that unique. This ship section here, which reminds me way too much of Club Step for some reason. You get this UFO section here, which actually is Flappy Bird for once. This actually feels like Flappy Bird, which I guess does introduce the UFO quite well. You get this last ship section, which is a little added bonus because only one side of the platforms have spikes, so you can like just rest there again, and hold the top there. Makes it a little bit easier. Got this last cube section, nothing interesting happened in this. And then you got the bowl part at the end, which is really cool because again, it syncs with the song very well. Just like at the mini cube I talked about earlier, there's a lot of quick notes in this section, and the bowl perfectly represented like this. Oh, I forgot to unmute the music. Go up there, a lot of quick little spikes here, so you have to go up and down really quickly here. That just makes it really unique in my opinion. It matches with the song, syncs up with the song perfectly. Then you get this final cube section to end it all, because it's such a great level in my opinion. The song's awesome, the gameplay is awesome. I literally said it. Awesome. Fucking awesome level. Why is the search bar? What the fuck happened to YouTube? Why is my search... What? How's the search bar gone? What? Club Step. The first demon, the 3rd hardest level in the whole game. Can I get Club Step, not YouTube Shorts? Shut up, I don't care. Alright. Club Step. Now, Club Step is an interesting level because it's the hardest, and I think it does that quite well, because it was the hardest level back then. Well, probably not. There was some other user-created levels that were hard. But for main level, this was the hardest main level back then. And I guess that reinforces the point that Geometry Dash can get way harder really quickly. Like, especially here, you got this first jump here, then you get thrown into a billion orbs here, then you don't know which ones are the correct ones, you get thrown upside down here, then a billion more orbs here. Like, it's even though it's quite unfair and a lot of fake stuff, it introduces the player really well into the point where, shit, things get quite serious here. It actually gets quite hard. You get this pretty nice coin, but it's a little lame in my opinion. To be honest, this coin path is easier than the normal path. You got this little section here. You got this invisible section, which, yeah, it exists. Not really much anything to say about it. It's just invisible, sort of. Not too difficult. And after that, you get to the ship part, which is a step up from any other ship that you saw before. And of course the Club Step monsters. Of course, you can't forget about the Club Step monsters. But again, this kind of reminds you of the Flappy Bird kind of thing with these little things you have to go in between. But then now there's spikes everywhere, which make this a hell lot harder. And these invisible ones make it harder, so you have to actually remember where they are. Get thrown into here. I don't really like this section too much because it does feature a lot of blind jumps. Like this, for example, blind jump into basically nothing. And while yes, there's some reaction time, if you react way too quickly here, you jump too early, you fall into the pit of nothing. Then after here, another blind jump here where you're supposed to skip that orb, but then get thrown into nothingness, into a pad here. But if you tap too early because you reacted wrong, then you're going to hit into this fake orb and smash into that, which again I don't like. I don't like blind jumps very much. Then you get this very interesting bowl section over here where more fake orbs, but you go through the level again. Like through here, for example, the first time I saw this level as a kid, I was like, what the hell? You're supposed to go through these things. Gameplay where you're supposed to go through the blocks themselves is the most interesting because it's the one where you don't really actually see it at all. Like, you just can't predict, oh, you're actually supposed to go through there. You hit that orb, which is actually just the eye of the club step monster. You go through here, then another hole through the floor. You have to do this gameplay here, which is really interesting. It isn't fair, but it is interesting. You got this UFO section that exists, not much to say about it, more Flappy Bird. This thing that exists. You got this section here with more blind jumps here where you're supposed to hit these orbs. The third one, and only the third one. Then more of this. You get this little ship section that exists again, not much to say about it. This little thing, it exists again, not much to say about it. This thing, it exists, not much to say about it. And then this actually fiendishly difficult ship section. It isn't that difficult, but for new players, this is fucking hell for them. You got all these gravity portals and are decently tight and actually has gameplay section. You have to go up and down and up and down. It actually gets quite difficult, especially there. You got this thing here where you have to again fall through the floor, but the problem here is, yes, it is a blind jump. You go through here. You fall through the floor and instantly, boom, blind jump over here. Then you have to actually hit that platform instead of go up there. Then you got this actually difficult ship section here where the gravity portal is on its side. So you have to stop holding at this exact moment so that you fall down instead of just fly straight up again. That gets difficult. That is difficult as fuck in my opinion. And you got this last boring ass section here. Nothing much to say about it. Boom, it exists. Yeah, that's it with Club Step. I'm going to give this level a good because of all the new elements to it and the difficulty, but it's not getting an awesome because I don't think the design or the gameplay was that spectacular. Damn, 35 minutes. Fuck, time goes quickly. Electrodynamics. Why has my search bar always been disappearing? What am I doing with YouTube? Electrodynamics. I love the song. I don't know if I love the level too much. It's a very interesting level to say the least. First off, the decoration obviously a step up. I think this is 1.7. 1.7 really steps it up with its decoration. You get access to a whole new set of decoration to use, like these bricks, like these chain things again. I don't know what you call them. And yeah, you get a whole roast of decoration, which basically gives this level its style. And that's really good in my opinion. After that, you get you get introduced instantly to the speed changes, which is the main feature point of this level. It doesn't actually go too brutal at first. It only throws you into a 2-time speed changer, so that it isn't that brutal. But this section is because you're supposed to skip that. But then there's these invisible jumps here that is hidden among these fake spikes. Like, that is really cruel. I don't like that. After that, though, you go to here. Not really much to say about this. You got the pretty nice sink here, like boom, like that awesome sink there. I love it. After that, you get this decently long ass jump here. This May section, which I really hate a lot because it just isn't necessary in my opinion. It should just be normal. And after that, you go through here, boom, into the ship section. And this ship section, my god, again, it's a step up from everything that we've seen. You're going really fast, and there's a lot of pulsing in this. Instead of actually having a static background of just one color, it actually has pulse. This is probably one of the first levels that have pulse. Like you can see here, there's a lot of pulsing here. Instead of just having a static background, it's insane in my opinion, and it matches the song really well. Instead of having a static background, it always fades back to black. And it matches the song quite a lot. And this ship section also, the gameplay is quite interesting. You have to go up into this pretty long... can I play the video for fuck's sake? You go up here into this decently tight corridor, instantly to a mini-ship where you have to weave between the gameplay here. You have to weave. Then you got this UFO section, which is quite small and quite difficult. It actually is finally a gameplay, a piece of gameplay where only a UFO can do it. Finally. Instead of Flappy Bird style, it actually has pretty decently tight gameplay, where you actually have to click in very specific points. Like right here, for example, right there. You actually have to click at very exact points to be able to fit through this gameplay, which is something I love about the UFO. Because instead of going Flappy Bird stuff, instead of just flying through the middle, like that a ship could do, instead, it actually utilizes the UFO gameplay quite well. And you got this section, which, it just disproves whatever I just said before, but, yeah, it's fine, I guess. You get this pretty insane cube section here. A decent, it's alright, nothing too much happens in it. But you got this bowl part, which definitely syncs up with the music really well. After that, you get this boring ass cube section, but that's fine because we get to the very hard part of the level, 3 times mini wave ship. Yeah, here we go. The hardest part of the whole level is this part. Why? Because you're going incredibly fast and you have to weave between these massive platforms with spikes on them. Then halfway through, you go upside down. You get this boring ass bowl section here with nothing much happening in it. Then, back in again, just a different design and even harder gameplay. Then you got this bowl section, just a little wrap off to the level. This ship section kills pretty much everyone because they don't expect this last ship section to go at 3 times speed. Everybody dies here because it is actually quite difficult because it is quite tight at times. But other than that, A+. Awesome. I love this level. It's so good in my opinion. I love the introduction to the speed changes. They add so much variety to the whole game, really much. Speed changes really give variety. Like, yeah, gravity portals and different game modes is also quite important, but speed changes, they really add a lot to the gameplay. They really add a lot of energy and just a lot more things to play around with, I guess. And I love the pulsing, I love the new backgrounds, I just love everything. I love the decoration. A+. Hexagon Force, its counterpart to this, and also regarded as probably the hardest insane level in the main set of levels. Oh wow, we even get an intro to this, thank God. So this is a pretty difficult level because there's that one section at the dual part that literally everyone dies at, but the decoration is quite interesting in my opinion. It tones it a lot down. Like, this level's toned a lot down from electrodynamics. The energy, the speed, it tones them quite a lot down, and even the song, as a matter of fact. It's not as intense, it's not as heavy in my opinion. I guess that's a good thing because this is supposed to be a chill level. Can we stop having depressing music? Like this, for example. I don't want piano music, for fuck's sake. But this level is a lot toned down. It's a lot more chill, but it's still quite difficult. You get this first section, which nothing interesting happens in it. And you get this pretty interesting ship section where it's actually slopes. Instead of just being pillars, it's slopes. And there's a lot of spikes on the slopes, which make it a lot more interesting. Then again, with this bowl section over here, slopes make it a lot more interesting because you can make that jump here, then skip that and get the coin. More slopes here, more sloped gameplay over here. I don't know if slopes were only introduced in 1.8, but damn, they really go heavy. Like this gameplay, for example, where you actually have to jump to make these gaps. Insane. Then after that, get to this little thing, the duel portal. And what I'm glad about this level does is that, firstly, it starts off with a little symmetrical duel. It doesn't actually just go insane. Okay, no, it doesn't, but it's still simple enough to the point where you can sight read and understand what a duel is. And after that, it goes insane at you, throwing you with these unsymmetrical duels. And there's one part where everyone dies at because they go way too early, and either they hit this jump orb way too early, and this cube goes flying down into this gap right there. That's why it's the most played section of the whole video, actually. Everyone dies there. It's a universal thing, but I like it how it instantly introduces you to this asymmetrical gameplay, which is kind of the whole point of Duel. If you make symmetrical gameplay for Duel, then why is it a Duel in the first place? Then after that, you get this symmetrical ship gameplay, which isn't bad because it's also really unique. Like, you got these slopes here, which will force you to actually take some action because you have to actually go up and avoid these spikes. Because if you don't and go into the slopes, you're just going to fly into that. After that, a little bit of straight flying around these little things, then straight back into this section right here, which nothing too much happens, just this really long ass orb combination. Little fake ones right there. You go through this UFO section, which slows right things down, which again, nothing really interesting happens in it. The decoration's a little weird. Then instantly back into a dual bowl part, which this dual part is probably one of the best in the whole level because you got this section where this ball goes flying. That means you have no control over that ball, which is really cool in my opinion. I like it how this level introduces you to the dual mechanics so well because it covers so many things. Like if one of the players is airborne, that means you have zero control over them, so that the other player here can actually do this gameplay, like go up and down here while this ball doesn't go straying. Flying up there. It happens again here, where you have to time it so that you don't actually tap too early. Because the thing is here, if you tap too early here, when going down on this section here, this ball part will still be on the ground here and fly up. So that's why you only can tap here to avoid the saw here when this ball is already airborne, so that you don't actually have any control. Again here, you have to only tap here when that ball's already airborne. And you get this, what the hell, what did you do there? You get this pretty normal ass ship section, and yeah, that's pretty much it to the whole level. You get this last ship section, which is symmetrical again, nothing interesting, and that's the end of the level. A plus again, I love the level. I love it how it introduces you to the duel mechanic in such an interesting way, but it covers pretty much everything that a duel mechanic should kinda do. Asymmetrical gameplay that cannot be done, that can only be done with a dual game mode. The decoration isn't as hyped up, isn't as well done as Electrodynamics, but the gameplay counters that. The gameplay definitely counters that. I love Hexagon Force, it's one of my favorites. Blast processing. Now this is an interesting one because it's 1.9, and I started Geometry Dash in 1.9, about 2017. Actually no, even older than 2016 to be exact. Or 2015 actually, really long time ago. 2015 Pro. Now blast processing is an interesting level because new decoration like always add the wave game mode. Now the thing about blast processing is I just love it how this decoration is so different to any other out there. Like you got these little things where you can actually finally put color into them because 1.9 is the first update. Can I believe you? Is the first update where color channels were made. Back then, in 1.8 and before, you only had background, ground, line, object, and all the decoration pieces here are just your player colors. You can't change that at all. You can't change it, it's just the player colors. You can change the background color of course, but not the decoration. But now you can get color channels, so that you can actually make your decoration change color. Now, you only had 4 back then, but still was a major thing. And I guess 1.9 was the most influential update back then. I think it still is nowadays, because fuck me, there's a lot of new things on 1.9. But yeah, this first section, not too interesting in my opinion, nothing really happens. But then, boom, wave, done. And I like it how this wave first starts off with about 2 seconds of nothing, where nothing really does, there's just no gameplay. I like that because it gives the player some reaction time to go, shit, wait, this is different, what the hell, you're a wave now, and boom. And you get this kind of gameplay where, again, only a wave could do. I mean, technically, yes, a ship can just slide around everywhere, but still, a wave is suitable for this gameplay. You actually have to avoid the slopes now. Go through that, do a little spam clicking there, more spam clicking there, and go through like a zigzag, which is really awesome in my opinion. I love it how this wave game mode, it introduces it quite well because it's not too difficult, but still covers all the necessary components to a wave. Like you can go straight, and you can go up and down. Then you get this wave ship part, which nothing interesting happens. You get a ball part after that, which again, nothing interesting happens. Then a kind of duplicate version of the wave, but now there's spikes. Now, I wish, to be honest, I do wish that there was spikes on the first wave, because a lot of players would probably mislead that you're able to glide along the slopes, which you can't with a wave. I honestly thought when seeing this level first that you could, but you can't. So I wish there were actually spikes on the first part of the level, but not the second, because then it would actually tell the player, oh, I can't just slide everywhere, like a ship and UFO could. Gameplay, this symmetrical wave part, which is fine in my opinion, because the wave was a really difficult game mode back then. That's why Bloodlust had like 0 wave at all, by the way. There's like only 1 wave section in Michigan's part, but other than that, there's no wave section in Bloodbath, not Lust, Bloodbath. But the wave game mode is one of the hardest, and probably still is the hardest game mode out of them all to master, because there's again so many possibilities with them. So I'll accept symmetrical duel for this part. I don't want some fancy schmitz, alright? Symmetrical duel is fine, it's already difficult enough. Then after that, you got this, then the rest of the level is just kind of a filler. Nothing really interesting happens in it. And yeah, that's the end of the level. Done. Do I feel like it's as good as Electroman Adventures, Electrodynamics, or Hexagon Force? Do I? Yes. And the reason why is because of how it introduces the wave game mode. It introduces it quite well to the point where it's not too difficult, but then slowly progresses it to get harder, especially with this dual wave part. It progresses onwards and onwards, and I guess that's a really cool little design there, so that you don't just instantly get thrown into fucking really difficult wave gameplay over here. You get slowly used to it, then the game finally tests you at the end with more harder gameplay, which is really good. And I love the song, I love the decoration, I love just the decoration itself. It's way more decorated than anything else before, and that's why it deserves an awesome up with the other 3 levels up there. 3 of everything too. Do I think this is a good level comparable to blast processing? Probably not, and the reason why is that it's basically just a harder version of blast processing. Nothing really interesting or is introduced to the level, which is fine, but it just looks quite similar with the design. It looks quite similar. These glow pieces here are really cool in my opinion. They look really nice. I do like the glow pieces, but other than that, it is quite similar to blast processing, just different colors. You got this invisible ship section, which I just don't like a lot, because I really hate invisible gameplay. Like, Clubstep was fine, it wasn't that difficult, and it was quite sight-readable. This though, since you use so many of these invisible things, it's just too difficult to see anything, honestly. Like, it just makes it really annoying. Then you got this UFO section here, which is just not designed for the UFO, especially with these slopes. It's designed for the wave, what the hell? Then you get this memorization ball part, which everybody hates, by the way. Because you got this section here where, oh, you're supposed to go up and down, that's a fake spike, that's a real spike, and all that shit. You got this UFO again, that's only supposed to be designed for wave. Like, I don't like it at all. It just isn't compatible with a UFO. You got this section with a billion fake orbs everywhere. And after that, more memorization here. Just way too many fake orbs. Then more invisible blocks here, which just, they don't look nice, and they just aren't really required. Like, the gameplay wouldn't be any harder, it wouldn't be any easier if you just made them normal blocks, in my opinion. They just make it really more annoying. Then you got this section, which again, nothing interesting happens in it. And after that, you got this wave part, which is probably a really difficult wave part. Okay, this section is one of my pet peeves. What the fuck is this? You're supposed to jump over this slope here, and then jump over another one, and then land all the way here and take a jump. How the fuck are you supposed to know as a player to do that? Especially on your first go. Like, first of all these slopes are invisible. Why? These slopes don't have to be invisible. Like, it just makes it so hard to see sight read and makes it so annoying. And second of all, at least add some pointers to where you're supposed to go. Add a pointer here that you're supposed to go this one. Add arrows to this one. Add a little arrow here to tell you to jump after that. Then you got this wave section, which is kind of cool, I guess. It's just a lot harder version of blast processing wave, which it's fine. And then you actually get to the ball memorization part, which I fucking hate, by the way. Any gameplay where you have to memorize is just terrible. This is no exception. Just look at it. How the fuck is anyone supposed to know that? What the hell? Even though it's a demon level, Clubstep does it better. Clubstep actually has difficult gameplay that is fair to the player. After that, you got another wave section, which is just a copy of the first one, nothing interesting. You got the ship section, which is more invisible gameplay. After that, you got this. A slow section that looks the exact same to everything else. Then you got the hardest ship in the whole game. This ship that is not designed for the ship and more for the wave again. Just look at it. Just look at this part. Look at this. This is not orthodox ship. These 45-degree angles are not... Look at it. Look at it. Just what the hell was RobTop thinking by adding this? Then, oh, what the hell? There's a quote up there? I didn't even know that. But yeah, just what the hell was that ship part? With this UFO section, which is actually quite difficult and quite fast. Then this last wave part where nothing really interesting happens, and then you're done with the level, basically. Just, it's kind of a dumpster fire level with good decoration and a good song, but it isn't that good. There's a lot of problems with it, a lot of things I would have fixed, and it's just not that good in my opinion. Oh my god, we've been going for 53 minutes. Fuck me, dude. 53 minutes. Geometrical Dominator. This is an interesting level because it's fine except the 3/4 of the way through, and you probably already know what part of the level I'm talking about. So this first section is quite nice, you know, introduces to grass. you know? Moving objects. I like the arrows here. If the arrows weren't there, these moving objects pop in so quickly. But with the arrows, oh, I know, the blocks will be appearing there. A little hard to sight read, but that's fine. Then you get this little robot thing here with a little go, which is kind of cute in my opinion. Go. I love the decoration in this level too, even though it is quite old and I hate seeing it nowadays. Back then, this was really cool decoration. You got flowers, bushes. You got this kind of dirt ground here with 2 grounds now. You get 2 different grounds. You get this hills background, you get clouds now, 2 different kinds of clouds. I like this little rainbow part, I don't know how, but this rainbow part looks beautiful and it's all symmetrical. Beautiful, beautiful design there. After that, you get this thing, and the thing I love about this section here is that, especially with the robot, you can jump pretty high, but this is not a place where you're supposed to jump high. But if a player jumps too high here, they're not penalized. Okay, this gameplay doesn't show you that, but you know if what I'm talking about here. If you jump too high here and hit the ceiling accidentally, up here you can actually just go through the ceiling itself. There's actually, these are just fake outline here. It's not actually a block. You can go through the ceiling, which is something I love about this level. It's because the game is trying to teach you. You can also control how high you jump, but if you mess up, you don't die. You actually just go through it. This gameplay doesn't show you that, but over in all of these sections, you can see here, this part of the thing is glowing, which indicates it's an actual object, while this part isn't, which means you can go through it. It obviously doesn't tell you you're supposed to go through it, but, you know, it's a little backup. Like, it's a little coin here, which is quite intuitive in my opinion. You're supposed to skip the jump orb, which will take you there, and instead skip everything and go through here. And again, I love this thing where you can clearly see that if you jump too high here, you won't get penalized. It's not a 1-block jump here. They let you go through this little thing here, because you can see that's glowing and that's not glowing, meaning you can pass right through that. That's what I love about it. And go through the section, all nice and dandy. A lot of moving objects everywhere. I like this little gameplay feature here where the moving object actually brings you downwards. That's really interesting. You got this wave section, which nothing interesting happens in it. It's just a wave section. Then you got this section, which the design changes up completely. Instead of grassy land, it's now bricks. You get this interesting part, which is really difficult to sight read in my opinion, and I don't really like it too much, is this moving platforms part. It's way too quick in my opinion. I wish it wasn't that quick. Then you get this little part. Then you go to Rainbow Land again, with all these rainbow blocks. I love how RobTop was able to incorporate these rainbow curvy blocks into the actual thing itself. Insane. I like this section quite a lot, even though not much interesting happened in it. I like this little coin up here because you actually have to jump onto this platform and get it from there instead of just jumping over it completely. Then after that, you get a little ship. I think, yeah, it's a ship, which it's quite easy. I don't really like this section here where you have to go all the way underneath this. It's way too steep in my opinion. It should just be lowered to just like, I guess, the water's height instead of going all the way down, because you really have to control that ship on the way down. Then you get a little UFO part with more rainbow blocks, which is quite cool. It's all slopes, so you can kind of chill out. Then you get to the section I hate the most, and what I despise about the level the most. This part. I love having to sight read this bullshit because it is so fucking difficult to sight read this. Even though there is little pointers like these little things that pop up, it just isn't enough in my opinion. It just isn't enough. It's too difficult to sight read any of this. Everything appears way too quickly, and it just sucks in my opinion. Everything about this sucks. Too hard to sight read, and it goes on for way too long too. It goes on for like 15 seconds. Sucks. Hate this part the most. Nothing good about it. And it's also just black. There's no decoration, nothing. Just nothing. You get this terrible gameplay over here. After that though, you get to the end of the level. Again, this thing where you actually have to collect the green, not really collect, but hit the green things, which is really cool mechanic by the way, really interesting. Where you actually have to hit these things to open up the platforms. Really cool. Again, you have to get that to open up that. And even though this just pops out of the ground like nothing, the gameplay pretty much indicates that you're supposed to go down here. So that's quite cool. Get this little last ship section with nothing interesting in it. Then you got the last robot section, but again, nothing interesting in it. I guess these introduction to the factory kind of blocks, which is quite nice. Due to that last section, due to the 3/4 section, this annoying piece of ass part that no one likes, it isn't getting an awesome. Only getting a good. Just because of that one section. That one section ruined it for the whole level. I hate it. Blimey, we've gone for an hour. Deadlocked. Now, Deadlock is its counterpart to Geometrical Dominator, like Theory of Everything 2 is its counterpart to Blast Processing, but with Deadlocked, it's a little bit more interesting because there's actually more design features in it and a lot more gameplay options that make it a way better level than Theory of Everything 2, in terms of it being the harder counterpart of the original level. First, you instantly get thrown onto this gameplay, which isn't that difficult, first of all. Most players can do this first section over here. That's quite fair. A few fake orbs here and there, but this really cool section where you're supposed to woo woo woo, like a little wave here. You go through here, a little introduction to teleport portals, that's what you call them. Little introduction there, because Geometrical Dominator has none of those, which is really nice in my opinion. Then you go up here, go through there, you get to the wave section, which kills off pretty much 95% of everyone who plays this level. This wave section, which is really difficult in my opinion. There's zero really, it's just spam, and I really dislike spam. This wave section is not one of my favorites. Like, instead of having to weave between the ramps, it's just spam, basically, and that's just really annoying in my opinion. I like the gravity portals, it gives a lot more flavor, a lot more difficulty, but I just wish, instead of just having to spam repeatedly, you actually have to weave a lot tighter. You get this little section, which I do not like that much, because it's really difficult to sight read. This section here, which is quite interesting in my opinion, where you can't hit the red things. A little hard to sight read, but interesting mechanics. Nothing interesting here. You get to the robot over cube first and a robot. This really cool part here where by going through this teleport portal you go faster and make a giant leap here, like boom, it goes faster than a giant leap. That's really cool in my opinion. It hides up the transition in that little block design itself. You get this slower robot section here. You get this boss section, which is more interesting because you go up and down through the teleport portals. Like, it introduces you to the teleport portals quite a lot because you have to go through them quite a lot to actually get through this part. It's like playing two levels actually here. Two parts of the level. There's an up section and a down section. This down section can only be accessed sometimes, and this upper section can only be accessed sometimes. Really cool. You get this little coin right here for getting the key. And after that, another coin coming up shortly. This part I don't really like too much because it's just memorization and I don't like it that much. Just memorization there. Another little coin down here, which is kind of intuitive and interesting in my opinion. Then you get to this part where apparently RobTop likes it a lot. With this part where there's these fake portals, which I don't really like too much because it throws you off way too much in my opinion. But it's an interesting concept. But yeah, fake portals everywhere. Then you get an epic RobTop style boss fight over here. It's not really one, it's just three dudes, but yeah, nonetheless quite cool. Then you get to that wave section where everyone also dies here. Just look at it, just look at it, oh my god. It took me a really fucking long time to be able to do that wave section. This level probably took me like 500 attempts, which is quite a lot in my opinion. You get this little last wave section over here, that little spam, which again I don't like. I died way too much in this last section, fuck me. This is a sort of memorization part where you're supposed to memorize where you're supposed to go, because all these moving objects move so quickly that there's really 0 point to even sight reading any of this. They move so goddamn quickly that you can't really sight read. Then the last few seconds, nothing interesting, and it ends. Do I think it's better than Geometrical Dominator? No. There's a lot of flaws to the level. Not really a lot, but there's several flaws, especially these memorization parts at the end, and some parts in the middle that I dislike quite a lot. So, just like how Geometrical Dominator got everything perfect except that memorization part, Deadlock's kind of the same in my opinion. Got everything perfect except that memorization part. And last, it's the oh my god, can I not? Okay, great, we have to search up GD because anime took over. Can I get type Fingerland? I'm an idiot. Can I get Finger Dash, please? Thank you. Finger Dash is an interesting level because the song is very bizarre, but that's alright. I don't really like this first section in my opinion because the decoration is a little funky. Yes, it's supposed to be like a volcano and lava, but I feel like these grass tiles over here just match Geometrical Dominator too much and they just look too alike. You got this interesting thing here where you're supposed to woo and it matches up with the music too. I like it how this section syncs up with the music quite a lot over here. Like that little, like, it syncs up with the lyric a little bit, and I love how this dash orb gets introduced with a music sync. So it's quite epic. like that. I don't know why, but that is it's well synced, and I think that's what makes it so special. And another design feature, I'm gonna put that music back up again. Another design feature that RobTop uses, which is awesome, and I wish every level used it, are these things. Gravity portals. Now, first thing I thought was these gravity portals were the ones that stop the dash. It isn't. It's hidden S blocks. What the gravity portals are there for is to indicate to the player that their dash is ending there and what kind of gravity they're going to be on, because there's also purple dashes in this level. But what I like about it is that instead of just ending in the middle of nowhere or just dashing all the way until you die, it tells the player, you're ending it here, that's enough. Okay, gotta mute that. You're ending it here, and you're supposed to continue on. And that's something I love about this level. These design features, while minute and don't really actually do that much to the gameplay, tell the player a lot more. After that, just more some platforming section. These random arrows that mean absolutely nothing in my opinion. Then you got this really cool music, these synced up section over here. Whoa, look at that. Look at that. That is insane in my opinion. I love the music sync at this level. And this little section here where it kind of gives the player two options here. Do I let go of the dash here? Do I continue all the way? This guy didn't, Guitar Hero Styles didn't, but it's a little interesting, and it kind of does confuse people at first, or do I keep holding all the way, because technically you could, but most people like to take the easy option of just letting go here and jumping, which does work. What I do dislike though is how this is technically a purple dash orb, which is supposed to reverse your gravity. Where was it? Where was the section? Here. It's supposed to reverse your gravity, but then it doesn't actually, because over here it just replaces your gravity. It does it better here, where this yellow portal will tell you going upside down, and after that into the spider section. Boom, spider. A little test to see if you remember your black orbs there, and boom, spider. And what I like about the spider, again, it introduces you to the gameplay quite simple here. There's not too much here going on, but then boom, these pillar things, which look quite difficult and quite impossible, but then using your spider, it can just teleport between all this, you know? You just teleport, and you can even get an extra coin here if you're that agilent with all this stuff. If you're that quick at clicking, more black orbs to test your skills on. It's just insane. I love this spider part because there's just these sections which look impossible in theory, but then the spider can just magically teleport like that. This little ship section, which is quite nice because you got these massive rotating fireball things like from Mario. They look really nice. It does add a lot of gameplay. This little fun straight flying section, this part is not too interesting except these flying dudes that make circles. Again, really cool, really interesting. More flying dudes, except there's massive amounts of them. You get this little collecting frenzy here where you're supposed to collect 10 of these coin things, which kind of add a lot to the gameplay. The decoration isn't as interesting, as there's not much going on here, but the coins do give it a little extra touch, especially because 2.1 added like 1 billion new triggers, so why not show them off by having collectibles in this, you know? And then after that, you get this last little spider section, which is just a step up from previously. Then a little wave section here. Then a UFO, which nothing interesting happens in it. Then a cube part to wrap up the level. Do I think it's perfect? That's up for debate. I don't know if it's there or there. The song isn't as good. Oops, I put Finger Nash down there. The song isn't good. I'll tell you that. The song is terrible. Not the best, but other than that, I think this level does everything correct. It introduces you to the new stuff quite relatively well and quickly and effectively. And that, my friends, is the Geometry Dash tier list done in 1 hour and 7 minutes. Fuck me, that took a while. If you enjoyed this video, give it a like, give it a little fuck me. There, that's my title. Give it a subscribe, give it a like, and I'll see you guys next time in another tier list video, probably. I don't know. Bye.